Native Australian tree population is dramatically decreasing because of natural and humane causes such as deforestation, pollution, diseases and pests. We believe that we can boost up the population of Australian native trees, again, by planting them around our local area.
What we need from you is just a small amount of mentorship and sponsorship. The reason we need sponsorship is for the equipment we will be using to plant the trees and keep them alive. Examples of the equipment we will use is shovels, watering cans, gloves and fertilizer.
We need the mentorship because we are not experienced in the areas that we are helping, so we need someone that is willing to help us and give us a few pointers along the way. Another thing we need from the mentorship is the mentor to be blunt with us and tell us what they think is going to work and what isn't. And also the mentor will have more life experiences than us.
In the future, we are looking to become an independent organisation. To do this, we need funds to buy the trees so that we can grow them instead of sell them instead of getting from the council to be sponsored. By doing this, we'll be enlarging the profit so that we not only give fresh water to those in poverty, but food, shelter and clothes, as well as other necessary items.
Thank you for listening.
Well, I might kick off. Great work, girls. You've obviously done a lot of work. I think you presented very well, so that's a good way to start the day. So for me, I thought your presentation was great. I liked how you shared it across everyone. It shows that everyone's done a little bit of work, so well done to that.
Thank you.
I sort of bought the idea. I like the idea. I've got a couple of questions, however, but I might let the guys comment on the presentation before we sort of delve into the idea a bit. So.
Yeah, great presentation. You've thought the project through very well. I like the idea that you have looked at both what can happen here in Australia and engaging people in this community to help others in other communities. And I think that's always a great model to have for a project like this. So thank you, and it was a good presentation.
It was well shared amongst you all. The presentation was in good quality. I would have liked to have seen a summary slide at the end. It just gave me a little bit of a summary of who's supplying what, the cost, just a quick executive summary at the end. But other than that, the presentation was really good. But yeah, questions, we'll ask some questions in a minute.
Yeah, I'd agree with what everyone said there. The only other part was it did go pretty quick. I understand probably nerves and the time restraints, but yeah, overall good.
Keep up planting these trees and watering them and maintaining them.
As long as it takes to get them stabilised in the ground, I suppose.
And how long do you think that is?
Probably about a month or two.
And whereabouts are we planting these?
In the places that the council designates, or places that the school would like to get a nice fresh appealing look.
Free labour for the council to plant their trees.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, bribery to make them give us trees, basically.
Is there a cost per tree for any of the? I mean, not the purchasing, the council's donating that, but what about? And you guys are upkeeping it, but do you need to buy fertiliser? Do you need to do anything else?
Yeah, that's where sponsorship will come into hand.
Okay, so the 5 or 10, is that an upfront one-off, or is that a monthly fee?
That would just be an upfront cost, just because it's quite a large cost in my opinion, because trees don't exactly cost that much if they're just going to be small.
Mm-hmm.
So that's upfront.
So why 5 and why 10?
Because those were the numbers we were happy with, and that we got that we get the most profit out of that.
So my suggestion would be that you need to understand what those costs are going to be, as in what's fertiliser going to cost, your own time and commitment.
Yep.
I don't know whether you got to buy buckets or something to water them or whatever it might be, but you need to understand exactly how much is it going to cost you per tree. I know you're getting the tree for free, but actually putting it into the ground and maintaining it, and then to understand, because people, I would, if I'm going to give you my $10, I'd want to know, well, how much is end up going to go to the charity? And you go, well, actually it costs us $9.50 to put it, it's only 50 cents is going in. So I think you need to understand exactly what the cost per tree is going to be for you, and then it'll help you articulate and sell it a lot more, saying 90% of your donation will go to the charities that you've selected.
Tell me a little more about you said something about the donations, car park buckets.
The donations.
Yes,
so
yes.
we
How is
will-
that going to work?
We will set up like tables from the school, put some plants on there as like a show of what they're going to be
Okay.
sponsoring towards,
Mhm.
and then we will just ask them at like the Kiss and Go where the parents are,
Okay.
some kids
Okay.
maybe, and they will sponsor that, and they can choose one of the organisations that we have available.
Right.
So one organisation per donation. So if they make multiple donations, they can
Yes.
send it to more than one.
So there's more ownership, and that's a good model to have,
Yeah.
because people, as Patrick said, people want to know where their dollar's going, and often they'll have a favourite charity
Yeah.
that they think does a better job than others. So that's good thinking. Yes.
While you're on the fundraising one, what would try and think a bit bigger too? I'd just encourage you more. So social media is a big outlet, so because you're only limiting to who's here, and if you want to go community-wise, you can go bigger than just this school and the parents of this school, and then that way you're still hitting BOR, Glasshouse Mountains type way. But what also happens after the 30 trees? What's your plan then?
If it goes well, then we'll get another 30 or maybe 100, and then we'll continue with that. And then if the people sponsoring enlarges, then we'll probably go on to put that money into buying trees, so that we can actually sell the trees to them instead of going and planting them ourselves. So then maybe that would enlarge the profit even more. So then we could not only do fresh water, but food and clothes and shelter for the people in poverty.
Like any, and Wendy and Patrick will probably know better than me. Wendy and Kevin, Justin will know better than me. But for something like this to get scalable, you're relying a lot on volunteer labour. Obviously, you 4 girls are going to be doing the first 30 trees, but then you've got the next 30, and then the next 30, and the next 30. And scalability means obviously being able to go to another school or organisation doing exactly the same thing. So the issue for scalability would be, it's a great local campaign that would probably have, in my opinion, a limited life, because you could go out, you could do it, you could raise some money. But to scale it somewhere else, you need to be relying a lot on volunteers. So you may need to, if you're going to scale it, you'd need to say, okay, we need to employ someone full-time that goes around and plants these trees. You know, if you did a Facebook campaign, you had 500 people come and say, we'll buy a tree. All of a sudden, two issues. You've got the council going, well, we can't give you 500 trees, we're going to give you 30. And secondly, who's going to plant 500 trees and look after 500 trees? So scalability wise, you would need to probably build in some costs of doing that if you were ever to try and make it bigger, but a good local campaign that we could raise money for a good local cause, I would have thought.
And another thing that I think about what Darren was saying about employing people, possibly engaging with the local community for people who are unemployed.
Yeah.
So you're giving back, getting them work for the dole basically, or something like that, or New Start allowance. There's something within that aspect too that you could explore. And I think too, the one thing I'd like to see is your development of a logo, something that says, boom, this is what we're on about, something very simple, and how will you promote that and how will you brand it so that people actually identify with you and what your little project is, because there's a lot out there in project land.
Yeah.
Just a couple of final comments. Kind of going back to the presentation.
got to give you some money, I suppose. Do we offer?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you $15.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Only losing it because, and from my point of view, a little bit scalable is not quite there.
Yeah.
From my liking, and possibly not quite enough looked at. Probably how you're going to market past just the schoolyard there. So
I'm going to give you $15 as well because it's close to my heart. The whole concept is close to my heart, and I think we can never do enough of this. And also I like the idea of not only having sponsorship but mentorship. I think that's very, very important. And if I can help you in any way as being a mentor, I would offer that to you.
Thank you.
I'm going to give you guys $10. I think so. Presentation's great. It's admirable the amount of work that you'll take on for yourselves, and I know that's difficult in startups. That's what happens, is that you've got to do it all yourselves. But when you're talking about creating posters and then being out at the Kiss and Go to collect the money and all those things, and then planting, it's a lot for you guys to do. So I think if you sort of think about those sort of aspects that we spoke about, good luck.
Thank you.
And I'll do $15, but I want to encourage you more to look for someone you can partner with, because for 4 people it's a lot, and the power of volunteer is actually quite strong, and there are people out there and organisations that will want to volunteer and help you, but you've got to tap into that and find that partnership.
Thank you so much.
Tough going first too, so
Yeah.
Created this project called Kiss and Makeup. Kiss and Makeup is a YouTube channel we have created with videos for young girls like us with low self-esteem. We decided to do this project because it is different to every other YouTuber. Mostly every YouTuber on YouTube that makes videos of makeup tutorials are wanting the fame and the money. But for us, we want to help young girls and to build their confidence up and to make them feel more comfortable with themselves. Some of the reasons girls wear makeup is because they may want to cover any of their imperfections, as they are afraid of someone picking on them. It may not be just to cover imperfections, it could also be they feel more confident when they wear makeup. I know for a fact that I wear makeup because I feel more confident. We're mainly achieving to help girls like us too, who go to a school where you're not allowed to wear makeup, and we want to help and create videos of ways to let them wear makeup but not make it obvious. We aren't wanting much, but we are wanting just advice of how to improve our channel.
And this is a really new thing. We only started 2 weeks ago because our last project didn't really work out very well. So this is really new. We just kind of wanted some advice today.
What was your last project that you were working on?
The last one was we were going to go dance for and teach kids at the disability schools how to dance and express themselves in different ways, and let them express themselves in drama or art or dance or anything.
Thank you.
So have you got a clip that you can show us at all?
There is.
I reckon there must have been an oh crap moment that's happened in the last couple of weeks when you've thought, hang on, we're going to have to get in front of these people and say something. Because, to be quite blunt, is that it's not a lot to show for the amount of time that you've probably had to put some stuff together. So for us to sort of help you kick things off or where to go, there's not a lot for me to work with. So that's my initial comment.
Can you just explain to me why you changed midstream and why you've come in at this late stage with a new idea? That may give us a little bit of an idea as to some of the challenges you're facing.
Well, last time everyone kind of didn't want to do it, and everyone just split up and went and did their own thing.
So how many were on the team?
It's 6.
Right.
And we weren't really committed, no one really
wanted to do it. They were just
So we did something that we wanted to do.
because we
Alright.
love makeup.
So what is your plan from this point forward? Because you don't really have anything for us to review. What's your plan? What
On the
if you
days,
had a bullet point list? What do you want to do?
on the days on the Wednesdays we were gonna go down to there's media suites down there, and we were gonna film videos, and we were gonna get some of the girls from our class to be our models and just show different looks and do a lot of fun things on the channel.
Right. Have you reviewed what's already on YouTube within this arena?
Yeah, we have, and a lot of them are outside school, like aren't in school, and a lot of them do a lot of crazy heavy looks and stuff, and we just wanted
Right.
to do something to hide so they can wear it to school and not make it look so obvious and stuff.
Okay. So your purpose, you stated, was because there are some girls that may have low self-esteem and may have imperfections that they want to cover. I like the title, Kiss and Makeup. Maybe we could maybe we can look at even that. It grabs your attention, but what's it really saying about what you're wanting to do? That's one point. The second thing I think is that if you're looking at low self-esteem, it's much more than just the way you look. So what are some other key factors that you can build into your project to help girls not only feel confident by the way they look, but also feel confident about the way they present themselves, the way they speak, their aspirations, their goals in life. These are deeper things which I think you could really push your project into that area as well, and there are many things that you could do in that area. Probably that's what I want to say for the moment anyway.
One positive is that Kiss and Makeup, obviously you are girls and like makeup, so you're doing something you like. Now if you do something you like, it doesn't become work, or it can become work, but it helps to keep the passion alive in what you're doing. It just so happens that I've just filmed a TV series, so I know how easy it is to set YouTube things up, and because I just did a YouTube channel, and I would have liked to have seen a little quick video like someone else asked before, because that only takes a few minutes, and I've done plenty of those. And realistically, you probably, to get us excited, you could have had that done. You could have had, within 1 hour, you should have had a Facebook channel done up, a Instagram channel done up, a YouTube channel done up, even stuck something on LinkedIn. You could have had all your social media done within about an hour of setting that up, I would have thought. So I know it was a new project, but I think within an hour I probably could have had a whole slide, a presentation slide of not just a YouTube link there, but if you had something there, it would have been great, but then just a slide saying we've got the YouTube channel set up, we've got this, here's some pictures we've taken of ourselves, even if you didn't do a video, like here's a couple of the style of makeup we want to teach girls, whatever. Like I really think within about an hour to 2 hours, I could have had a lot more there.
No, I'd back the fact that it's a passion, which is good, so you want to stick with that. And I like the fact that, like Wendy said, you need to add something else. So I like that you want to do minimal makeup, which is good, but you can add that extra part. So you've identified a problem, and that's the confidence issue. But it's more than just covering. You're just patching it up otherwise, aren't you? So you got to get to the heart of the matter. And if you channeled into that a lot more, and to me, you haven't put enough. Maybe a late start, but what are we going into? The basic concept that I do like, and I think you got some potential there.
Yeah.
But just presentation-wise, pour in preparation on what we can. We've got a vision at ourselves. I'd like to know how you see it a little bit more.
I'd like you to do a bit of homework in looking at what other organisations have presented, things like the SHINE program, which looks at girls' self-esteem. There's many out there. So you can Google that, you'll be good at that. But that would be one place to start. Look at SHINE and deepen that concept of helping girls, as Justin said.
everybody and vice versa, and everybody likes you. That's the way of life.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you get into groups and you formulate that, you actually have to sort of think, well, we've got something to deliver here, and that goes beyond us, whether we don't like it or don't. You know, you've got to work with people.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
I'm happy. I'll give you $2 because you managed to pick something that you do like, but there was no presentation from me. Sorry.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'll do $2 as well. Thanks, guys.
Give you some encouragement for 3 there.
Making me feel harsh. I'm giving you $1 mainly for the logo.
Aiden.
My name's Jack,
I'm Jake.
I'm Sophie.
and today we'll be presenting you with, telling you about our product Pantry Map.
So our idea is it's an add-on to a container which will alert you when the contents of that container falls below the actual module. So it stops the need to check the contents, and and our ultimate goal is to create an application which will send it to your phone, computer, or say iPad or something like that. So it allows you to easily create a shopping list, and it is mainly made for people who are busy, like businessmen and women who either forget or are too busy to check. And it's also made for busy families.
So what we're using to create this is the Arduino modules, mostly made for robots, but we're using the Rev3 development board for this, or any Arduino module. Since we're still in the prototype phases, we're using a multitude of sensors, such as a ultrasonic sensor, to test distance between the food in the container and the other side, or the top or bottom of the container. We are also going to use a light module, which is when you put the module here. If the food gets below that module, light gets in, it will activate the sensor and it will alert you then. We are also going to go for an infrared sensor, which is a backup of the ultrasonic sensor if it does not work, because we're still in development phase. For future hardware, we are hoping to add a communication module, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, something to add on to the application that Jake stated.
For the design, it will be approximately 7 centimeters by 5 centimeters. We'll have extra room for the internal equipment. It will be made from plastic, and it will be originally matte black in colour, and you can order different colours.
So as I was speaking about the hardware, we also need software to go along with this. So we are using the Arduino open source software that comes along with the actual hardware. For future software, we are also hoping to create our own, so we don't have to keep on relying on something that may not be consistent, which will ultimately allow us to connect to the module for the sensor, to go to the application, which will also create the shopping list that Jake stated.
So the cost that we have found is that it costs around $50 to $60 to source our Arduino products, and then to create it we'll need another $10 to put into the plastic casing. But we found that we've looked around and found that the price can then be taken down a quarter to about $15 per unit.
So it has many uses, so it's not just a one-hit wonder. It can be used in food companies like McDonald's. They could use it in like a storeroom, so they can tell when they're running low on something and saving time and money. It can also be used in a restaurant for the same purpose, and like on farms, so they can get their weight of their produce like instantly.
This amazing machine will help all the hospitality things in their storerooms. They can tell when they're running low on things like food in the clear through containers, and this will be really good for the pantries at home, as you'll be able to tell if you're running low on something.
Thank you for listening to our presentation. We hope you give our products some thought.
great job, guys. You know, engaging presentation. You shared the workload. You've obviously done a lot of work and research, and that sort of came through to me that you've put some effort in to do this. Particularly not reading off palm cards and the likes. You've tried to memorise each of your sections. So good job in the presentation. I bought the pitch, if you like, the idea. I do have some initial sort of concerns. The job to be done. Is that at a mum and dad level, are they going to pay $15 if you can get it down to that sort of pricing for a container, just so that they don't have to open up the lid to see how much is not in there? But looking at the broader scheme of the industrial and agricultural, that would bring it obviously right down, and they'd be prepared for some of those things. So anyway, good job. You've done a lot of work, and I'll let the other guys have a few words.
Yeah, I agree. Like everyday use, I can't see a family benefiting from it, but like storeroom, restaurant, that sort of stuff, absolutely, that can help stock take. You said they've got to be clear containers anyway, so you can see through. So like in my pantry, if I open it up, I can see where it's at. I don't need a machine to tell me. I'm not going to pay $15 for something to tell me something that I can see. And then in a pantry as well, it's dark, so how will the light sensor work? And that part. Our fridge, the light's going to be on, so is that going to affect it? That sort of stuff. I can see your vision. I love your thought, your technology. It would have been good to see like a diagram or something for someone not so technical anyway. If you're trying to pitch, you've got to think of everyone there. Technical might be fine, but it would have been good to see what it looks like. 5 to 7 centimetres I can sort of vision, but how's that going to go on? So just a little diagram would have been good.
Have you done
either lose a lot of it, or you just want to make sure that you have that in stock?
I love your presentation. I love the way that you shared it between the 5 of you. Each person had their part to play, and that was good. You've obviously done a lot of research and thought about your product. I agree with Justin that there's probably more application in an industrial setting rather than for domestic use. I can see that working really well in the back of, shops that have very high turnover with food, keeping things fresh, keeping quantities there. I've had some experience in that myself, and I think that's would be a really good thing to have. I like the idea that you also have in mind developing your own app, that you're not reliant only on the component that you're buying into at first, that you're actually going to develop your own. So that I think that's a great thing to think about as you move your project forward.
So when you say $15, that's you putting it together, or is that someone else putting it together? Okay. Because to sell it, you're going to have someone else put it together. You can only put together, maybe a couple a day, whatever. And then obviously everyone's talking $15, but that's $15 from the manufacturer, so it's $30 to the wholesaler, $60 to the public. So we're now talking $60 to the public for a container, possibly. So you probably have to work on your costings and work on how you could get that manufactured at a reasonable scale. Have you looked at the competition? Because a lot of fridge manufacturers have been talking about it for a long time, about take something out of the fridge, it automatically knows, and there is companies working on that right now. I mean, if you go to Hilton Hotel and you take a Coke out of the fridge, it knows you're taking the Coke and it charges you. So there's sort of that sort of thing happening. So I guess it's a matter of making sure. Yours is a little different because you're individualising things, so definitely has some application there. But whether I think the cost would have to come way down to have any sort of application in a domestic setting, maybe a commercial setting, but even so, I still think you'd probably have to get your costs down a fair bit there. But good idea. I mean, I like the idea. I would personally like those sort of things. I'm very time poor, So for me, I would have that in my fridge any day. Where if I ran out of milk, my milk would be there. Like I would buy it, right? But I don't know about this, whether you thought through the full scalability and the sell price and the whole bring to market thing is a whole. Manufacturing is a big business. It's a. You probably have to get manufactured in China in actual fact.
Yeah.
I'd say that. That's the truth.
My suggestion would be is picking, if you're going to go down the commercial, pick something specific because, particularly on the commercial side, is that cross-contamination and things like that. So if they're reusing same containers that you've produced, how would they do that? Is there, is there a particular product that a particular restaurant or a particular agricultural place uses that they just top up the same container all the time? Find something specific and try and work on that initially, rather than just being really broad and sort of thinking about that.
And the size container, like a 7x4, is not going to work in a commercial setting. You're going to need that's for your sugar or milk or something.
Actually, you're probably looking at offices, someone where no one takes ownership of who's got to restock it, and that would be a good market for you. So your common offices. Where
Stop your secretary all the time.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, guys, I think you've stumbled on a really interesting seed of an idea. I don't know if the solution to the problem
And I'll give you $12 towards that. You can come to it.
I'll give you 10 because I'd want to see a prototype. So that's to get your prototype done.
I'm giving you 15 for sharing it amongst the team, your explanation, the idea with this nice, clear presentation. Thank you.
And I'm going to go 15, so I'd like to see it get up and running and see what potential you can make out of it. So
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you.
Good morning, Sharks. My name's Ethan.
My name's Morgan.
My name's Tristan. Today we would like to propose our idea to you in hopes of getting mentorship. Our idea consists of making a school radio system where students will be able to choose the music they would like played. We've organised a meeting with Hot 91.1's General Manager for next Wednesday. We've asked him if he can give us any tips about how to help start up our radio and how he started his. We would also like to contact other radio stations in hopes of getting them to help. We're going to talk to the